I hear the words you utter, Mr. Prime Minister. See the disappointment catch on your face. Oh, I cannot defend you. No, not at all. No, not at all. I must call the radio station, each and every calling program. I must defend you. I must defend you. I must show yellow conviction like I did before election. I must defend you. I must defend you. Now I hear the words you utter, Mr. Prime Minister. See the disappointment catch on your face. Unwanted blows you've been getting, and you find I ain't saying nothing. So you want me put them in their place, but while you want me to put me neck on a block for you, somewhere in the southern region, a young girl questions the heaven. A foot soldier for the party, every green was an enemy. Now election pass, she feels just as a old jackass. So I can defend you when I see how she's grunting. I'm a whole and she ain't getting. Even though you promise her she will get something to do, I can defend you. I could feel her heart breaking, cause some of those she see working, same enemies that she made for you. This is indefensible. The yellow is in a darker sheen. He's running thing, the place still green. If that's the change you promise her, take back your change, sir. And there are those who I suppose are not proud to pose in the yellow clothes, cause just like how they feel let down, foolish and small. I cannot defend that at all. Oh, I cannot defend you. No, not at all. No, not at all. When Alan Campbell they fratting, I must call and straighten me skin. I must defend you. I must defend you. On every talk shop, every forum, oppose all those in opposition. I must defend you. Oh, yeah, yeah. But this is between me and you. The pain of this man from Carriacou does stop me from making a note. Cause you perceive there was corruption. Now you want to take away her land. And what is what she gave you her vote? And this man quite old, ravaged with that rights and cold. $400 you promised him, his support was unwavering. Now he makes the sign of the cross, and he cries as he counts his loss. Instead of the increase, you remove his name from your list. So I can defend you when I know he is thinking that he's in that finger offend him. 150 was not enough, but much better than zero. I can defend you when I see how he's starving. The fact that he's even surviving is a total miracle. This is indefensible, and all you swear that we healthcare would be repaired in the first year. Well, maybe to get better first, it has to get worse. Look, Tasha Hood bled till she was dead. Another head that could have been spared. There is far too much negligence in we hospital. I cannot defend that at all. Oh, I cannot defend you. No, not at all. No, not at all. I must ventilate on hot top, despite how much times they cut me off. I must defend you. Call again and defend you. Once the issue is politics, this year June, you say the government corrupt as hell. From the evidence you presented, naturally I took it for granted. By now some of them would be in a cell. And you spit venom, saying their leaders said that they will come. A simple letter it had to take for you to get your hands on the tape. Well, the months come and go the way. We ain't seen no tape to this day. Seems like overnight, a letter really get hard to write. So again, when them green forces come attacking and accuse you of being conniving, do not share your ambition was propaganda for so. I don't have ammunition to ward up this accusation, because between me and you, it is indefensible. And it was straight the way you flip on the topic of the citizenship. While you were there bungling, green folks were green. Oh, my heart burned me when I learned you never own no smoking gun. It's mistakes like this that will cause your downfall. And I cannot defend that at all. Oh, yeah. No, 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 no.
Not at all.
Oh, yeah. Man, it could never be sensible to defend the indefensible. Oh, yeah. Oh. Check up on the errors you're making. July 8th, not you and vote you in. Aye, aye, aye.
So much people complaining about the government. I wonder why they complaining when it's only 1 year they spent. They come in and complain to me, which I find strange, because the election victory, majority voted for change. So then I start to wonder, what is some of them seen? Why complain to this fella when they know my color is green? It seems like they don't have patience. That's the reason why. Or something pricking the conscience they just cannot satisfy. Don't blame me, don't complain to me. Why complain to me? Change you wanted to see. Oh, don't blame me, don't complain to me. Why complain to me? Change you wanted to see. 13 years we in power, you was in opposition. You won with your propaganda. I really thought you had a plan. You appeal to them old people, push promise in the head. If they only vote for you, pension will be 400. So much seniors they turn out to give you their support. Right now some of them hand to mouth because you lock the throat. $50 you increase, that's not what you promise. And if they have children overseas, you remove the name from the list. Don't blame me. Why complain to me? Change you wanted to see. Oh, don't blame me. Don't complain to me. Why complain to me? Change you wanted to see. Don't blame me. Don't complain to me. Why complain to me? Change you wanted to see. Don't blame me. Don't complain to me. You looked at our youth program, you said it was not working. If they only give you a chance, you'll do some improving. You went out to them, Imani, and make them understand. If they vote for NDC, you giving them a grand. Now you from the government, you bring youth empowerment. All who were getting 700 right now, they're getting a cent. 7 months now they gone home, you leaving them to roam. It seems like the grand you promised them is grandchildren when they bring it home. Don't blame me, don't complain to me. Why complain to me? Change you wanted to see. Don't blame me, don't complain to me. Why complain to me? Change you wanted to see. Since after the election, supporters threatening me. They have a letter from madman. Go home immediately. So tell my fans and my family not to worry about me. When they carry the letter, just take it easily. Don't call the radio station. Don't preach victimization. Cause if you all know the madman, this youth always have a plan. If you listen to my songs and what I just tell people, one door closer the madman, another one will open. Don't blame me, don't complain to me. Why complain to me? Change you wanted to see. Don't blame me, don't complain to me. Why complain to me? Change you wanted to see. Don't blame me, don't complain to me. Why complain to me? Change come to this country. Don't blame me, don't complain to me. Why complain to me? Change you wanted to see. Don't blame me, don't complain to me. Why complain to me? Change come to this country. Don't blame me, don't complain to me. Why complain to me? Change you wanted to see.
Death is a huge factor in man's fate. When it happens, that's the time for it. Though he may set his mind on a date, yes, the time and place remains a secret. Man could reminisce, dream and foretell, just like the way Martin had a dream. While on the past, some men like to dwell, prompted by pride or low self-esteem. Sam Cooke told us that a change will come, hoping it will happen overnight. Though it may be surprising to some, could only happen when the time is right. The world today in disarray, and salvation is what we need. A Messiah will come one day. In the good book it is decreed. Sooner or later that day will come for the right time. We just have to wait. For God in his great infinite wisdom will determine when it's appropriate. Humanity just have to hope that life shall soon become sublime. Until then we must try and cope, because nothing happens before its time. Men keep arguing the conundrum. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Events may forecast what is to come, yes, and it happens before you say Greg. Though through faith you can be in heaven, but it takes a lot more to move a mountain. And if knowledge, logic, and reason flows from within a divine fountain, what is to happen has to happen, can't be prevented by anyone. For come what may, once it is written, accordingly so shall it be done. They say better days are coming. All things I know it has to be. The debacle we are facing is yesterday's reality. Every action breeds a reaction, and every dog going to have its day. Life must cater for every faction, because it was meant to be that way. Things do happen for a reason, be it good fortune, success, or crime. Spectacular events will happen, but never, 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 never before it's time. Whenever death catches us by surprise, we always think it is premature. But given time, we does realize that person's tenure was up for sure. When someone makes a mistake in life, most times they does say, if I didn't know. In times of trouble, in times of strife, one always hear people saying so. But when thing is to happen, I say, free knowledge can shift that paradigm. Don't let anyone lead you astray. Things cannot happen before it's time. Some people say that things will change, while others keep on asking when. And those who see everything strange as a signal or an omen. The holy book of Revelations constantly speaks about time to come. Every day, global situations keep on swinging like a pendulum. One day soon we'll have to account for all this wickedness and crime. Even though the pressure's going to mount, it just cannot happen before it's time. Everything has its own time and space, preordained for it to occupy. Inspired by a true act of grace, yes, and sanctified by the Lord Most High. Each event begins as a thought to manifest when the time is right. Could only transpire as it ought when Master God give it the green light. Some call it fate, some say destiny, call it whatever, it's the same enigma that plagues humanity. So the crystal ball attained its fame. Some say there is no tomorrow. The reality is today. Yesterday is all that we know, for that time is made up that way. One moment in time could change the world. When something happens, you cannot change it. To do that is way beyond man's control. Powers God did not entrust us with. We are waiting for salvation. At the moment things are in their prime. As I told you already, man, nothing happens before it's time.
Ooh yeah, I am stuck between a rock and a hard place. In this modern time, God gave us a gift. We burn and we cranium, still He gave us a mind. Think about positive endeavors to make we life rise up. But some people that I know thinking so low, they brain living in
with us.
Because they would see it on the name of a brother with malice intention, when instead they could be uplifting a sister for life progression. It is so hard now when a man turn a big man and still didn't grow. But the reason they procrastinate and gossip is because their mind is poor. So I say poor mind will gossip. Illiteracy, simple mind, talk about places that they could never be. Ordinary mind, talk about events and personalities, but wouldn't mind speak about ideas. And great mind speaks philosophy. The mind is such a spiritual force, will make you do what's right. And for sure, my friends, you are in control, so there's no reason to fight. I know you heard this before. Life is how you make it, so be honorable. But when you sit in a state of idleness, not making your mind simple. Now all you should know, your mind is the center of your universe. A bad thing to waste. Yes, man, in all different sizes, and in your head it was placed to uplift and elevate those around me with tremendous grace. Positive is always the way to go. I want to please stay away from his, because I say poor mind will gossip. Illiteracy, simple mind, talk about places that they could never be. Ordinary mind, speak about events and personalities, but wouldn't mind speak about ideas. And great mind speaks philosophy. Instead of vision, a lot of people live in dreams and love to expatiate. They love to talk about man-made creation, so their life is on weight. Most of their thoughts is based on fiction and not reality. So I wrote this song to let them know they must change their mentality. You spend all your time with your mind being carnal and does not have a clue, creating a sense of hopelessness and still don't believe it's true. You really don't know how to uplift your standard, man, only wasting time. I know the reason for that, my friends. Ordinary mind, oh mind will gossip. Illiteracy, simple mind, talk about places that they could never be. Ordinary mind, talk about events and personalities, but wouldn't mind speak about ideas. A great mind speaks philosophy. I've tried my best for my mind to be good and one day be great. That is why you could never get me to sit and procrastinate. Something needs to be done. I will get up and do it without hesitation. That is why I'm working so hard, my friends, for Calypso unification. If artists use their mind, there would be more focus, knowledge and understanding. And in order for us to make progress, we have to stop bickering, making fuss over what really doesn't matter. Intelligent men must think, but you could bring a horse to the water hole, but you can't force the horse to drink. So I say poor mind will gossip. Illiteracy, simple mind, talk about places.
And good night to Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. 6 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. And at least it's a bit rainy in my neck of the woods. You can't tell from the background, but it's a bit rainy outside. Yes, indeed.
Oh, Grenada, playing for Grenada.
Let me say a special good night to all of you joining us via Facebook, via YouTube. I'm not sure if 91.9 is on with us tonight, but just in case, those of you who may be listening via that medium. So good night to you, Antonito, Junior, Davis, Small Axe. Yeah, man. But I had to play that tune in a little while, you know, brother. Yes, Yolanda, and let me see, Davis. I'm seeing Tessa, Nicole, Jasmine, Edlin, Cynthia, Jocelyn, Amanda, Toya. Good night. Kishon, Courtney, Amanda, Ann. I'm also seeing Veronica, Anna Lewis. Good night. Cleaver. Bernadette, good night to you. Maudlin, Wallen, I'm seeing Petra, I'm seeing Glenda, I am seeing the other Anne, I'm seeing Susan, I am also seeing Sherry, Red Girl. Good night to all of you who are joining us via the Facebook page. Just saying a special good night. Denise, I'm seeing you there. I.E. Fletcher, I see you there. Cindy, Sean, good night to you as well. And let me see who's over on YouTube. Yes, over on YouTube, I'm seeing Rhonda, April, Gloria, Maria, Teresa, Janice, Cousin Londa Coy, how are you? Jessie, Sherry, good night. Baby Daddy, good night to you. Stephen, Amanda, Gleason, good night. Hillary, Sandra, Eliza, Joycelyn, Angie, Hermina, Fitzroy, Alcy, Cynthia, Christine, Wilma, I'm seeing Sherma, good night to you, and good night to Zayla, right? Christine, Ann, Devin, Alban, Henry, Kathleen, Jacinta Livingston, good night. Samuel John, Anastasia, good night to you. Phyllis, Deborah Laborde, Matthew Bowen, Veronica Lois, Lishra Abraham, good night to you. Jen, good night. Michelle Alexander, Catherine Ledlow, good night to both of you. Adrian Watts, my good bro, good night to you. Clive, Gavin, good night. Deborah, Marlin, Anne-Marie, Vanessa, Faithlyn, Hallie Douglas, good night. Dave, Wilfred, Agnes, Carl, Phyllis, hey, Alan, yeah, Jones, I ain't see you there, you know, but good night to you, Zoe, right? And Zayla, good night to you as well. Yeah, I said good night to Zayla. And I have to remember the next name is a kind of funny name to remember. Yeah, the spelling does throw me off. Yeah, so a special good night to each and every one of you joining us tonight.
Give myself to thee. Yes, man, that's why I'm playing.
Good night to you, Amisha. Good night.
Good God, I'm playing.
Good night, Kathy Pope.
Grenada. Yes, man, I always playing.
Joyce, I know that you're listening. Even though I don't get the message, I know you're listening.
Good God, I'm playing. Passing Grenada. And that's a fact.
My good bro Nimrod Olivier, a special good night to you, bro. And let me say a special good night to some people tonight. Let me say a special good night to Oliver Joseph. Good night to you, Honorable Sir. Good night to you, Mr. Gregory Bowen. Yeah, I hope that you all are having a wonderful night tonight. Dr. The Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, you know you have to get your special good night, yeah?
When you see me with me son, me hammer, in the boning sun.
Dr. Clarice Modest, I know if you're not listening, I know you will be joining soon. Unless it's something very important, take you away from the program. I know that you're listening, yeah?
And she always said,
Honorable Kate Skeeter Lewis Peters, good night to you. Honorable Peters, I think you need to call me tonight, eh? Yes. Honorable Kate Skeeter Lewis Peters, you need to give me a call, eh? Nice. Honorable Emlyn Pear, good night to you. So between one of you, yeah, one or the other, give me a call. Senator Neelan Franklin, good night to you. Senator Nolan Cox, good night to you. Senator Katisha Douglas, I know you're on every night, Senator. Good night to you.
That's why I'm playing. I always playing. Good God, I'm playing for Team Grenada.
Honorable Peter David, yeah, I know that you're out there and you are listening. Good night to you, sir.
Keep on playing. I'm always playing for Team Grenada. And that's a fact.
Yeah, today has been an eventful day, and I'm still awaiting the official information from the Royal Grenada Police Force. Indeed, there are certain procedures that they must follow before they make pronouncements in relation to certain things. And I'm waiting to hear the pronouncements that they make in relation to that death that took place in St. David yesterday. A farmer was found deceased in his land. So we await to hear the details of what took place there, to see the circumstances that are surrounding that particular event, what took place there. We're waiting to hear the official statement from the Royal Grenada Police Force. I think that they definitely will be conducting an autopsy, and then we'll be finding out exactly what took place there. We know that there was an incident in the south of the island today, a shooting incident in the south of the island, and we see that our Minister of National Security has returned. Let's see if he'll be saying anything in relation to the situation with what is taking place, because it seems now as though on not just before it might be a monthly, right now it's like on a weekly, and now it's getting down to a daily basis. And the thing is, I'm somewhat afraid that we become desensitized to this, and I'll tell you why. In the 1980s, I spent some of my childhood in Trinidad. So during the 1980s, when murders started happening at a specific rate and different types of murders, there was always this kind of shock and uproar that something like that happened and that sort of thing. And people were in shock, and for days you'd hear them speaking about that event, what happened there, and they had the daily newspapers publishing all different aspects of it and things like that. And after 1990, when the murder rate started increasing in Trinidad, they sort of got desensitized to the entire thing. It got to the stage where when you heard a murder took place in Trinidad, that is just like, oh yeah, another one again. Yeah? And we're talking about killing of children, women, all sorts of gruesome things. And it started, they desensitized it. It became as though, yeah, another one. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that we never get to that stage in Grenada, that we are always outraged when any sort of act along those lines take place. That we do not start becoming desensitized to this sort of thing, so that we change the way we operate as a society and accept it as just, oh, yeah, another one, so, well, police go deal with that. No, that we continue being the type of country that we have been over the years, that always try to be our brother's keeper. Yeah, one thing with Grenadians, if they see something, they go in court and say, yeah, they're hiding. They go in court, I see. I was there, I see when he passed 11 o'clock the night he was wearing that, I see. They go in court and say, yeah. And if we start to desensitize to this thing, or we turn a blind eye and pretend that it isn't happening, or we try to bury our heads in the sand and say such and such is not happening in our country, yeah, we're doing our country a disservice. There are negative things taking place. We need to address them. We must address them, and we must address them properly. I think we have a call online. Hello, good night.
Good night. How are you, sir?
I'm quite fine. You're sort of breaking up, but let me see if I'm getting you properly there. Go ahead, try again.
Okay, good night.
Oh, you're good now?
Well,
yeah.
No, I always turn on to the program, but before I make any statement to the program,
yeah,
we'd love to big up Inspector for that tune he sing me about 65 years of retirement. A long time I haven't heard you write a good song like that, and it's well written, and I hope he could develop it more before the semi-final to the final.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to bring him up on that. And so far, I think them artists need to go back to the drawing board and get some work done. I think if you're raising the fee now to 100,000, how come they're singing that nonsense they're singing there now? I think we have to be very careful. And first of all, I have to big up my NNP party and make sure everybody all right and keep safe for the holiday and do their best. And don't worry, have faith and keep courage. We will be back, big, better, and stronger. We will be back. I know that. I'm not seeing some of them ministers. I don't know what's taking place at all. I don't know. I need to know. I'm not hearing them. I'm not seeing them. I'm not smelling them during the election. I used to see them regular. No, I'm not seeing them. What are they waiting at to fool us? They're waiting for the 3.5 years, when 3.5 years to come and do little things on the ground to catch we vote. Tell them that ain't working anymore. That trick ain't working.
Well, they know who they go catch.
Yeah, that isn't working. So I love to big up again, and you stay safe and good luck to Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique, and make sure they keep their eyes on the weather still. We're not outside of the weather yet. We're still in the hurricane season. And safe fun. Very, very safe fun.
Yes, indeed.
Keep safe. Yeah, man. And you keep safe as well, right?
All right, my brother.
All right.
Thank you so very much.
Okay.
All right. Yes, indeed. And yes, as you realize, folks, the phone lines are open, 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. For those of you that may be in North America, whatever part of North America, you could be in Albuquerque, New Mexico. As a good partner of mine, I'm sure you're having a tequila right now. Yeah, that way like tequila. Yeah, out there in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You could be in Canada. You could be in Texas, wherever you are. You can give us a call, all right? Yeah, and it counts as a local call. And those of you in Canada, you can do the exact same. And remember, you can also call us on WhatsApp, 1473-440, 7377. So the straight number, you can also call us on WhatsApp via that number as well. All right, so yeah, folks, I was looking online today, and I realized that our Prime Minister came back. I mean, yeah, let me see if I could find a look at something here where the Prime Minister come back. Where these things and them disappear? Hey, what's the matter? Yeah, let's see if we could see a look a bit when the Prime Minister came back today. And you know, yeah, we want to see a look a bit where the Prime Minister is back. Yeah, I think that is it. That's the one by. I wonder if, yeah, man, watch, yeah, man. Thing nice, boy. Yeah, thing real nice. Yeah, man. Yeah, thing on airport, all kind of thing. Yeah, boy. Yeah, people smiling, grinning, all kind of thing on the airport. They have gone to meet the dear leader. People line up on airport and all kind of thing. They like, yeah. All kind of thing taking place. Eh? All kind of thing taking place. So we see there that the Prime Minister, Maudlin, good night. Yeah, all Virginia people, good night to you, or Washington DC people, and so on. A special good night to all of you, and yeah, Virginia, Washington DC, North Carolina, good night to all of you. Florida, good night. Bronx, Brooklyn, yeah, Queens, wherever you are out there, we say a special good night to you. So yeah, the Prime Minister came back. I see they have big thing. All of the ministers who on island gone down. Well, where Minister James, she gone again? Minister James flying more than JetBlue. Yeah, anyhow. So yeah, man. The Prime Minister, yeah, man, back again. He's back on island. Yeah, welcome home, Mr. Prime Minister. So we see the Prime Minister being warmly given. But that remind me of something. Let me see if I could pull up something. That remind me of something, man. When I saw that, it reminded me of something I see recently. You understand? Seriously, it reminded me of something. Yeah, man. But yeah, it's not only we Prime Minister could get all kind of thing when he come back and thing, you know. Yeah, other people just get them kind of thing too. Yeah, man, they're modeling themselves after certain people. So you understand what's going on here. Nice. And for those of you that are just listening via radio, you may not be able to see what I'm talking about. But yeah, so you realize, yeah, man, yeah, that's the kind of style. Just now we go get the police getting special guard and thing when he come. Yeah, in a kind of laughing mood tonight. Seriously. Because I can't understand what all of that for. You're gone for nearly 2 weeks. You come back without a red cent for the people of Grenada. All you come back with is good wishes, dreams, and memories, and photo opportunities. That's all you come back with for the people of Grenada. Yet still, that's part of the cabinet. You have somebody down there that's not government minister, not senator, anything. I know what they're doing down there, but they go down anyway. So that maybe was a political something. And you have another person who reached down there. Well, I think that's a secretary in some place or the other. But anyway, all of them reached down there, right? To go and greet the Prime Minister. Yeah? I hope that he's going to have a press conference and tell the Grenadian people, for all the time that he's been outside of Grenada, what has he brought back for the people of Grenada? What are the benefits for the people of Grenada for the time that he has just spent out of the island? Yeah? Yes, I know that's North Korea, Susan. Well, if they're modeling after certain people, you have to let people know they're modeling after certain people. I find that's what you're modeling after. Because that is who does have everybody line up for when they reach back, I mean, all you want to see it again? Yeah, that is who does have. I mean, yeah, in Grenada, we just have it like this. I mean, yeah, Grenada flag, yeah, that's what we just have it like this. In Grenada, when their leader comes back, we just have it like this in Grenada and thing, man. Yeah, man. Picture from plane come down tarmac. I wonder if that's the same photographer that went out with him that come back there and come off the plane first and start to snap some pictures. And maybe the same photographer, because here right now he's traveling with his own photographer, yeah, his own picture taker outer. He's traveling with them and thing, yeah, and you all paying for it. So nice, yeah. So that is in Grenada style. That's what has happened in the Grenada style. This is the one that has happened, and then we know there are other countries where there are similar behaviors. Yes, we know that there are other countries where the behavior is similar, right? Yeah, where does have to come and greet you better be on the airport when the dear leader come back, Yeah, you better be on the airport when the dear leader comes back. You better be on the airport. Yeah, so I couldn't help that one, Ali. I really couldn't help that one. But you better be on the airport. Seriously, what are we celebrating? What are they celebrating? That he back on the island? That is thing to celebrate? That he come back? Yeah? Because I mean, this where this kind of thing does take place, where you see people go and you have to line up and wait, and they didn't roll out red carpet. They say, it only had green one day and they didn't want to use that color, so they didn't use the carpet, right? But anyhow, that's the kind of thing that is the kind of places them thing does take place. There's Grenada, we don't do them kind of thing here. And plus, if you come back, okay, Kirani James come back after winning a medal, an Olympic medal, you won a silver medal, you ain't get that kind of behavior. Yeah, when he went out and he won the medal, he ain't getting them, when he get them, they ain't getting them kind of behavior from these people and them. When he go out and win medal and he go, you even know when he reach. But the Prime Minister went out, they ain't get nothing. Nothing for the people of Grenada. Anderson Peters go out, win World Championship thing, come back, you ain't getting them kind of thing. That is who you're supposed to get them kind of behavior for. Yeah, they have come back, they've made their country proud. They have done things that has never been done for our country. And it is of a benefit to each and every one of us. Yeah, because it puts Grenada's name on the map. When you go somewhere and you say from Grenada, oh, Anderson Peters country. Oh, Kirani James country. Yeah, I looked at him in the 400 meter. That guy's phenomenal. Yeah. But the Prime Minister, God, what did he do? They went and tried and collect money for the NDC. Now, they didn't focus on trying to get funding for projects here in Grenada so that the people of the West Coast don't have to go and stand up until late in the night waiting for transportation because the terminal is closing at 8. So the buses who are up after 7 say they ain't bothering to come back down because they can't go onto the terminal, and then you have a bunch of people stand up there waiting for transport. Yeah? And most of the buses don't want to do it too because they have to go over the Molinier. They can't go over the Molinier, so they have to go over the how you may call it, the Mount Moritz. Yeah, and pass down the Jones Road. So they're fed up, they're tired of having to do that multiple times a day. And it's not an easy drive. I've made the drive and it's not an easy drive. So I could imagine for people that have to do that multiple times a day. You have to do it 4 or 5 times a day. I could understand from their perspective. Yeah? Which is why the Molinier project ought to have been completed by now. But Tweedledee and Tweedledum came in and decided that they're going to remove the contractor and all sorts of nonsense. And then you ended up with a situation that they did what they wasn't supposed to did. Yeah, they did what they wasn't supposed to did. They went and do and interfere with the hillside, which they were not supposed to interfere with. And down came the hillside. And now they have to reimagine and redraw and regroup that project. And possibly, I'm hearing that they have to also find funding now for that project, for the new way that they're going to do that project. A project that if they had just carried out what the new National Party had left there to be done, would have been completed right now and traffic could have passed there nice and smooth. And people would not have had to go up Mount Moritz and come down the Jones Road and all the simmy-dimmy. Yeah? But they interfere with it because, again, they think they know better than everybody. But now you're seeing what the situation is when it comes to that particular road. Yeah? And it is affecting the lives of the people on the West Coast. It is affecting the businesses on the West Coast. So it is affecting them. Yeah, transportation between there and town is a hassle. So the buses have decided that, hey, after a certain, and especially if rain start to fall, forget that. They ain't coming down again. That is it. They ain't doing it. Rain start to fall, that is it. Them fellas and them ain't running. And again, you can't be upset with them. They are the ones that driving. Is a tiring thing. You prefer the driving and they're tired and they're feeling sleepy and they're drowsy or something and they make mistakes on the road? No. So they know that they have to take it easy and so sometimes they stay home and they rest. Right? So I understand from their perspective, but government needs to, one, look at mechanisms in the interim to get the people who live in St. John and St. Mark and St. Patrick and even in St. George Northwest, those who are living in Happy Hill and Beaujeu and Brizan and so on to get home on an evening time. They need to look at mechanisms to ensure that these people are getting home, but they just don't care. Well, the Minister for St. John never here. Never here. Yeah, you have a senator up there in St. Mark that acting like if he's the MP. He feel he's the MP. He get one by the election there, but he still feel he is the MP because he party in power. Yeah? So when the MP organizing to fix the slipway for the fishermen and so, he comes in and decide that, oh, he know better. Yeah? And make the job stop, and then they go and they do it, and then come in and do now like he was the one that was all the time they're asking him for it done, you know. He ain't get it done. When the former minister, the MP, is trying to get it done, he go and he jumping in front. Yeah? So these are some of the things. What the Prime Minister really come back with? So he's been out for nearly the past 2 weeks. He's come back with what? Grin? That is what he bring back for us, a grin and a grip. All the old people know his grip. Them young people, they know his a grip. Yeah, a grin and a grip. That is what he come back with. Yeah? That is Mr. Grippy. So he come back with a grin and a grip. No, all the young people had this grip thing wrong. The grip is like a suitcase, right? Yeah, so he come back with a grip and a grin. That is what he come back with. Meanwhile, they refuse to have a press conference, and you see the crime situation going on. He's the Minister of National Security. He needs to fire the Minister of National Security. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, you need to fire the Minister of National Security. Because there is a serious situation developing in our country that needs to be addressed. Yeah? And while your ministers, let me see if I could find where your ministers and them, yeah. While your ministers and them busy, yeah. While your ministers, Mr. Prime Minister, are busy like this. That is your Minister of Youth, eh? That your Minister of Youth that day. Yeah, that the Prime Minister and the Minister of Youth and who's that one? That idiot from Karaku. And then the Attorney General and so on. Yeah, that is them. Skank on one foot and thing. That is where they bad. So while his Minister of Youth busy with them kind of thing, the New National Party is busy engaging with the young people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Now, they started in Grenada, so they had this session yesterday. These are just some photos from the session yesterday. Yeah? So they had this session, and this is some photos from today's session now. You see Dr. Mitchell speaking with the young people there. Dr. Pancho and Senator Neelan Franklin there with some of the young people. This is from yesterday, so the photos are sort of mixed. Our good brother Nimrod Olivier giving an inspirational talk to the young folks there. And then you have Honorable Emlyn Pay and some of the young people there as well. Honorable Kate Lewis Peters, she's there and she's interacting with the young people today as well. So you had, this is what the New National Party is doing. While them skanking and posing on the internet with cigar and alcohol, yeah? While they are posing on the internet with alcohol and cigar, the New National Party continues working with and for the young people of our country. Yeah? So these are just some of the photos from the sessions yesterday and today with the young people. Yeah? Empowerment. Education. Yeah? Speaking with those young people and getting them involved in positive activities, putting them in a proper frame of mind, a proper mindset. Yeah? That is what the new National Party has been focusing on doing. And folks, 44073, I saw I was missing a call there, but I was just completing the point I was making. 4407377. Somebody say the bushing better start on Monday. The bushing started on Monday. Somebody said the bushing started. Well, you're listening. Yeah, somebody say somebody said the bushing started Monday. It better start. Yeah. Yeah, all they come back with is a grip and a grin. They ain't come back with nothing else for the Grenadian people. A grip and a grin. That's the two things they come back with for the Grenadian people. I think we have a caller on the WhatsApp. Let me just get that call in. I believe we do have a caller on the WhatsApp. Hello. Hello, good night.
Hi, Brother Scott.
Hi, good night.
Good night, boss. How are everything?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Okay.
Brother Scott, let me just make that point really quick.
Mm-hmm.
I today when I saw the news about the guy who got shot. You know, for the past couple of times, all this monster killing and shooting in Grenada, boy, I was looking for the Minister of National Security, who is the Prime Minister, to come out and make a speech or an address, or even the Commissioner of Police. But it's like the Minister of National Security, not security at all.
No,
so
he's a Gurin.
I know. Well, I want to know what's really going on with this guy, because the man does securing at all. I really want to find out where is the Prime Minister, what he has to say about this upsurging crime in our country. And you're just not hearing nothing from the man at all. You're not hearing anything from the Minister of National Security about none of the crime that going on in Grenada. Nothing. It's like the man like what's going on in Grenada. Boy, this thing is very sad, boy. It's sad. It's sad. As a Grenadian, it's sad to see the state Grenada in every day. You're hearing somebody stabbing somebody shooting somebody beating up somebody, and you're just not hearing nothing from the Minister of National Security. Nothing. Well, I agree with you. We should fire that blasting Minister of Security.
Yeah, the Prime Minister needs to fire the Minister of National Security. He needs to fire him and fire him now.
Which is himself. He should fire his blast himself. Because I can't understand how you could have this situation going on in your country.
Like he afraid the Minister
of National Security. You ain't saying nothing. If you don't have enough police in the police force in Grenada, hire some police force from St. Vincent, hire some from Antigua, hire some from Trinidad. Do something. But man ain't doing nothing. Nothing. Not all the man ain't doing nothing. So just imagine people just doing what they want in the country right now. People just fighting with people in front of police. Well, I hear something go on up in Grenville, up there in Fisherman, but that is what the chatters on the street say. That you had two police officers there, and when the men start to fight, them two police had them run because they can handle this big crowd of people fighting against each other. The two of them alone can handle that. So them and them leave and they run. Well, if I was in the men's shoe, I did run into you. Yes, I did run into. Brother Scott, let me ask you this again, boy. I remember a couple of months ago, the same Minister of National Security, the Prime Minister, he make all kind of galavant on Facebook. He show receipt about this, receipt about that, talking about Kit Mitchell sell receipt $200,000 from Polish man, and they have cabinet conclusion. Boy, where the cabinet conclusion up to this blessed day?
It may be
they're still looking for it.
It may be in the grip he come back with.
Well,
all he come back with is a grip and a grin, and I'm telling you, you will never see that cabinet conclusion because the Prime Minister lied. He lie.
He don't have. All the man do, the man presents a receipt on Facebook and saying, oh, this is that. No, we don't want the receipt. We want the conclusion that said that Dr. Mitchell had received 290,000 euros. We want the conclusion. We want the receipt. Bring the damn conclusion. Bring it. Mr. Prime Minister, stop what you're doing to the Grenadian people. Speak up about the crime. If your police force don't have enough police, hire some police force from our neighboring country. Ask the CARICOM board if you could borrow or if you could use some officers from other islands to come to Grenada, so we could handle the situation. But this thing is getting out of hand.
But my brother, I don't even think we reached to the stage that we need to bring in police. I think we have competent police here. But if you're disrespecting and disregarding the police officers, if you're treating them in the way you lied to them last year, you're treating them the way that you're treating them now. You have senior police officers. Imagine you have police officers as senior as Deputy Commissioner of Police that you're demoting simply because of politics. You have other police officers who were holding positions more senior than they were as acting. They were removed from those positions and demoted. And other officers who were under investigation are given senior positions. Yeah? If you have that kind of thing happening, the police force ain't sure if they're coming or going. They're not sure who leading them or whatever, because you're hearing you have a acting commissioner of police and you hear that he going in a while. You had another commissioner that they push out. He could say whatever they want to know. All of us know they run Commissioner Martin. We know they push him out.
Yes.
So how you expect the police?
I know for a fact they fire the man.
Well, how you expect?
Talking about the man reach age for retirement and time.
But they brought back in retirees. But he went and they brought in retirees. And on top of that, you have a situation with many of these officers who are qualified, who wrote the exam and passed the exam and did not receive an upgrade. They did not receive a rank. Yeah? And you expect people to operate as normal within the police force? We have capable people here. We don't need anybody to come in. In fact, Grenada's police force has one of the best conviction rates in the Caribbean and maybe even the world. When it comes to things like murder and so on, Grenada Police Force has an excellent record in dealing with all of these issues. But if you're not treating them right, you expect them to work to the best of their ability? Come on, man.
Mr. Scott, I see some people under a certain program saying, oh, the man failed in the capacity that was given to him. That man was the best commissioner Grenada ever had. That man, that red mong man, people run down the man there. Why was people the Grenadians don't really know, That man was the best commissioner Grenada have. And what they do, they fire the blasted man. And line and say about, oh, the man, if the man reach age for retirement, is the man choice whether he want to retire or not. You can force somebody to retire and telling people they have to retire. If the man capable to work, and he wants to work, and he wants to give Grenada more service, that is the man's choice.
Yeah, so
you can fire the man because the man reach retirement age. But watch these people are them real blasted wicked.
I'm still saying though that Grenada is still the most beautiful, still the most wonderful, still the most peaceful, because even with all of this, we're still more peaceful than some other countries around us, the other countries around us. But we don't want to lose that. So let us nip it in the bud. I keep saying that. Let us nip it in the bud.
Brother Scott, when you see these people are not finished with us in Grenada here, if we don't dead, it's because we close to death, We don't badly wounded, we close to death. If some of us ain't dead, we close to death. But brother Scott, you have a pleasant night, boss.
All right, thank you very much, bro.
Continue doing what you're doing, but to be honest with you, Grenada is not in a proper state. And look, we have Carnival coming up. I don't know what will take place. I don't know I just don't know. Grenada, we need to secure our country before we lose it. Have a blessed night, brother Scott.
Thank you, my brother. 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on the inside. I've just made sure that the box is open. And my good friends listening via 94.9 We Noise Radio out there in Brooklyn. A special good night to you. Those listening as well via the We Noise app. Yeah, you're listening to Noise Radio online, we say a special good night to each and every one of you. All right. Yeah, and let me say a special good night to all the police officers. Yeah, the police officers, the prison officers. Good night to each and every one of you. And when I say the police officers, yes, I mean the Coast Guard officers, the fire officers, the immigration, no matter which department in RRUs, SSU, wherever you are. I'm saying a special good night to each and every one of you. All right. And I think we have a call online. Good night. Hello.
Good night. Good night.
Hi, good night, caller. You're live. Go right
I
ahead.
want to ask where is the container with the medical and the put, because we're not hearing anything about it.
Yes, I'm waiting for an update in relation to that because I myself have not heard anything, any update on it yet. So I'm hoping to have an update before this week is over. Yeah? We know that the other one was cleared and that one came out, but the container on the port, we still have not heard anything.
Okay.
All right, my dear. Thank you so very much.
Good night.
All right. Bye-bye. Yes, indeed. So, yeah, we're waiting to hear what's going on with that container, with the medication and the other medical items that's on the port. We want to hear what's going on with that one. 440-7377, that's the number for you to get on the inside. Some people tell me I mustn't call him man, tell us fraud. Well, what you may call him man is tell us fraud. I see. Unless he tell us fraud, go for you hug. Acting Prime Minister. Oh, God, was acting and shoot. Could not really be a Prime Minister. We've got a call online. Good night.
Shalom, good night. Good night to the Grenadian people. Good night to everybody.
How are you doing?
Home and abroad. Good night. I just reached in there.
Wonderful.
Yes. And I hear Monday talking this, thinking about what's going on in Grenada. And the Prime Minister is back. And Shalom, you saying it, why he bring back? What did he bring back? If he come back with something, he will tell you, Shalom. They ain't going to tell you. They won't tell you nothing. These people and them don't care about the poor people in this country. But the same poor people, they on Facebook and singing and saying, oh, we miss the Prime Minister. I ain't necessarily miss the Prime Minister. Leave them people alone and they live their life. They come in. And I want to say, good night to Mr. Martin, who's a wonderful man. And the Mr. Talk right, Mr. Martin helped build that Grenada police force to a standard when he was commissioner of police. So, right now, if people, as the man says, somebody is fighting in Grenville and they go, they're right, because they're tired with the treatment they're getting. They're right. Well, to be honest, that's why they want to get rid of me and the terminal right now, eh? And that's the truth. They want to get rid of me. I see with my own eyes on the bus terminal where people get in conflict and police take another road, you know. They go, they leave there and go. I see that with my eye. I see that with my own eyes. So I don't doubt in the chatters and the streets. The police officers in Grenada, they was not treated fairly. So if I was there and I wearing that black boots, I'm moving too. I don't want for nobody to juke me with no knife.
And remember, quite a few
mental people on the street.
Quite a few have resigned, eh? Quite a few have taken early retirement and resigned.
What I'm saying is, Mr. Martin did a good service in this Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, in the police force. Mr. James was a very nice commissioner of police too. Mr. James in Montgomery.
Mr. Winston James, yeah.
Yes, I know. Clarkson and all of them. But what I'm saying, under all these other commissioner of police that gone when Mr. Martin came in, Mr. Martin did a good job. And they should tell you, when I speak, people are vexing me. And they want to kill me, they want to bomb and they want to get rid of me and the terminal because I'm talking too much. But I don't have a problem. They could do what they want with me. He raised the standard in the Grenada police force, Mr. Martin. So I salute you, sir. But a lot of people in Grenada will not speak of the good job he did. You understand? Just like Dr. Mitchell, just like Mr. David and Miss Clarice Modest and Miss Pierre. Very rare you get a Grenadian to call any radio station and speak of the hard work, the things these people do for us in this country. We are a very ungrateful nation. Sheldon, and I have no apology, and I don't care if it's NDC, NNP, gay rights, vex when I speak. It's the truth. These people work hard. These people work hard. And nobody in court and say, do not take the hard work what they like Mr. Ron Redhead. Cutting the ribbon with that road. They did not work. These people did not work. They did not build them houses. They did not build all the by roads. There was a time they said only concrete. Now are you taking all the credit? But what people in the America and Canada and England that they out there, they know. So NDC come and fool nobody. They know the hard work. They know the kind of work that go under NNP time. They know that. You understand? As he ran about a thing up, he said some road starting tomorrow. They put it up on Facebook. They don't start to work yet. These people don't start to work yet. Are they taking credit for NNP work? Eh? Look at it, that road up here, Mr. Scott, in Boucher-Jou. That road, I called Dr. out a time on a program, and I said, sir, you never lose your seat up here. And we need road, we need a good road because it was a track. Mr. Scott. And that man bring a thing and they dig up some big stone. They dig up some big stone and they build that road go right up on the hill where them Chinese build them houses.
Mm-hmm.
All you want to say, all you want to build a road? Yeah, man, some of y'all. That's why I come with you as Scott. I am not afraid to speak, and I don't care what all you do to me. Or you can't give me life, so I don't bother with all you. And Grenadians now, they must speak out. When they start to walk, and they start to build road, and they start to build house, say yes, because Michelle and they walk in. You hear? Or they have to stop that hypocrisy, because most of y'all is church people going to church and pray until you is born again Christian, or you to hypocrite. That's why Papa God go expose all you.
All right, Cammy. Thank you.
We're burying the young man tomorrow. The young man that he can be received.
Okay.
So sad.
Oh dear.
That young man tomorrow.
All right, my dear. All right.
To everybody who's listening to Camille TV, that's Scott. And they're trying to victimize me. So the world.
They ain't go get you. Don't worry.
Have a good night.
All right. 440737. And before I go back to the phone lines, I just want to raise a particular issue of serious concern. Now, and I'm going to hold on the calls for a little while and deal with this one, and then I'll take your calls again. There is something happening when it comes to the electoral office. Meetings have been held. In fact, you now have a deputy supervisor of elections. I can't remember it having that kind of position. But anyway, now you have a deputy supervisor of elections. And you have the recommendation that's coming. I know that some of the civil society groups have met with the Parliamentary Electoral Office. I know that some of the political parties, inclusive of the New National Party, have also met with the Electoral Office and so. And there is a recommendation. I think you all need to know what is taking place. The recommendations that are coming out at the Parliamentary Electoral Office, there are several. One of them is that they are proposing a new electoral system, a new registration system. Let me put it like that. Now, we would remember back in 2010, I think it was, under the last NDC administration, they changed from the old electoral system and they introduced the new and thing up, the same on the computer they disappear from and thing, right? That new updated computer system that they brought in, so that you would put your little fingerprint, so they have your fingerprint on file to be sure it's you, and you get your card was printed differently. We start getting the card that printed like driver's license kind of thing, right? And you had your photo taken digitally instead. You remember before, them fellas used to come with this kind of thing, camera and snap up. Okay, right. So everything went digital, the digital registration system and so. And the 2013 election, 2018 election, and the recently concluded 2022 election were all held using that system. Now, the Parliamentary Electoral Office is saying that that system has to be changed. There seems to be some issues between the company that created that system. It was not the New National Party that brought that company and get that system. Remember, that was back in the days of Julie Benoit and them and the NDC administration when she was supervisor of election and the NDC, right? So you had that taking place then. Now they are seeking to introduce a new electoral system. That idea is being floated. And I'm saying to each and every one of you, a political party could be the most popular political party. It can be. And lose an election. Yeah? It has happened many times before in different territories. That the most popular person in a constituency lose. You know why? Because they didn't do their groundwork and keep their eyes on the ball. And in this case, the ball, the bat, the wicket, everything is the electoral office. I'm calling on all of you. Keep your eyes on the electoral office, because if they introduce this new system, it also means re-registration for all of us. It means that they start the list from zero again. In other words, every one of us would have to go and register again. And remember, I remember registering early in 2020 because I know the system you had to re-register, and I re-registered early in 2020. I went through the process, and just before COVID breakout and thing, but in fact, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks before they had the cases and them started, I went and do my thing and got registered then. But it means that you're going to have a total re-registration system taking place, because you have a new system in place, and it doesn't matter if the card is for 10 years. If you have a new system, it nullifies the old card, it nullifies the old registration, because now you have to go and get re-registered. Well, not re-registered, you have to go and get registered, because you will no longer be on the electoral scroll, because they will not be using the information from the old electoral system. They would have to be inputting information into a new electoral system. I will hold with the calls until I'm finished on this one. I'm gonna take the calls in a little while. So if you're listening, hold with the calls for a little while, right? So it means you, me, all of us are going to have to go through that process again. We're gonna have to go and get registered again. Yeah? And if they're coming with a new digital system, because they're saying the other one, there's certain things it doesn't allow you to do, and they're coming with a new system that I think they're saying open source and all different sort of things, keep your eyes on the electoral office, because certain things might be happening. For instance, when houses are distributed in St. David, you may suddenly find that there are 100 new voters in St. people who were not living in St. David that have now moved to St. David because of those houses and so. And you may suddenly find that you have 200 or 300 new people on the voters list in St. David who are now living in that location, but who generally vote for the NDC. Yeah? You may see the same thing happening in Beaujeu. You may realize the houses are distributed, and you know Dr. Mitchell has won by that margin and thing, and all of a sudden you realize you're seeing a couple hundred votes you go in a different direction because the houses are given out with a certain plan in mind. Yeah? So we have to keep our eyes on the electoral office. We have to mind we business. I've always said it and I'll continue to say it. An organized new national party is unbeatable. It don't have a political party in the Caribbean, not just Grenada, in the Caribbean, that could beat an organized new national party. It doesn't have one. None of them, call name, none could beat the NNP when the NNP is properly organized. So it means that you, me, all of us have to pay attention to what is being proposed by the electoral office. We also have to pay attention to why this is being proposed by the electoral office, yeah, and make our voices heard as to whether we agree or we don't agree. Because telling all you, be careful when it comes, you see a re-registration process? All kind of things could happen with a re-registration process. Because you're going to be starting the list from zero. And people ought to know and ought to have an indication of what the criteria are to be registered in a particular constituency as an elector. That you have to be living there for a certain amount of time and so on. Yeah? So people ought to be made aware of those criteria. But even before it is introduced, we need to be informed of what system is being looked at. What are the different parameters of the system that's being looked at? And also the security measures for the system that's being looked at. Because we don't want a system that come in and next thing you hear it get hacked from somewhere. Next thing, because a lot of fellas get a Russian and them get passport and thing. And you know the hacking capital of the world next to North Korea. That the hacking capital of the world. So next thing, you hear we electoral system get hacked here and people who not supposed to be on the list end up on the list and people who supposed to be on end up off. All kind of funny things start to take place. So we need to be guaranteed, and I don't care who vex, we need to be guaranteed of the safety of the system that's being introduced. We need to find and verify the background of the people who are going to be putting that system together. Yeah? We need to verify who those people are. That nobody can come and give a man a 20 grand and tell him, hey, change that list up there for me, and that 50 people that's supposed to be in this constituency or this polling division, put them in the next polling division. So you go to Springs Government School to vote on election morning, only to find out that your name is down at the Calise Government School. Somehow you get changed from one polling division to another. And if that's 50 people, that's a significant amount of votes that make a serious dent in any election campaign. So you could find things like that happening if you're not paying attention. So this issue of the electoral office, and yes, it is an issue. There is a suggestion on the table. We heard the Prime Minister speaking when he was just the leader of the NDC, that he didn't trust the electoral system and he had problem with the electoral system, and he made all sorts of things, and he had to write to the supervisor of election, all kind of issue with the same electoral office that he won the election with, even after it making certain statements about things that he, not that the electoral office, and that he would like to see change there. There have been recommendations by the regional bodies and so on that monitored Grenada's election, and yes, you have those suggestions and so. But even before that, you had the person holding the office of Prime Minister making certain statements about the electoral office. Yeah? Again, you could have somebody that is the most popular candidate and lose. Everybody like them. Yeah? They could have 70%, 85% of the people like them and lose if you don't pay attention to your business. So it is important for us to hear what the electoral office is planning, what they intend to do, what they're floating, because it is not a done-for deal. They're discussing it. I know civil society, they have been discussing it with members of civil society. They have met with them. They've had discussions on that issue and so. Yeah. I know that they have also met with some, I think the last meeting, though the NDC didn't show up for whatever reason, you're having something to discuss, the electoral office and the NDC didn't show up at the last meeting and so. But you have these things taking place, and it is important that we all understand, because another thing that is being suggested is changing some of the boundaries. Now let me tell you how that is dangerous if we don't pay attention to what's going on. Now you're changing boundaries. Yeah? And I understand the need to verify boundaries in many instances. But how it is done is going to be very, very crucial, because it could very well hand a constituency to a political party or take away that constituency from another political party. And we know who in power and who going to have the numbers on the committee to make a final decision in relation to these things. Yeah? Even though the opposition may have representation there, they don't have more than the government go have, So, at the end of the day, if a constituency's boundary is going to be changed, pay attention to what's taking place, because you might right now be in St. Andrew Southwest, and when this is done, you may find yourself in St. Andrew Southeast, or you may find yourself in St. Andrew Northwest. Yeah? Because what they're saying is they want to use some natural, like the rivers and so on. And if you do that and you move the boundary from up the road to down the road, because you say using the river as the boundary, there may be 500 people living between where it used to be and where it is now. Yeah? So you may actually be changing some people who was in one constituency over to another constituency. It could be as little as 50. It could be as little as 10. But if you change 10 here in this village and 10 in the next village and 20 in the next village and so on, it adds up. So there is a suggestion as well to change constituency boundaries. I have not heard that from the electoral office, but I'm also hearing talk of creating 2 new constituencies as a possibility. And that is something that has been floated by various governments over the years, of splitting South St. George into 2 separate constituencies instead of 1. Because right now, the most populated constituency is South St. George. You have the most voters in South St. George. So it's a pretty large constituency. The largest one by size is St. David. So there's talk right now of cutting St. David and cutting South St. George in 2. So instead of St. David, you might have St. David East and West, or St. David North and South. And with South St. George, I know that you can't cut it and say St. George South. I don't know what they would do it. Or St. George South North, or North South, or whatever. I don't know what they would do. But there's the talk of cutting that. Again, according to how it is cut, it could be favorable to a particular political party. And again, we know who have the numbers to make the decision as to how it is cut. Yeah? It's not the NNP that had the knife in their hand to cut the cake. Right? So we have to keep our eyes on the ball when it comes to this issue. Yeah? Keep your eyes on the ball when it comes to this issue. 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on the inside. 347-329-3101. Yeah. Yes, we are reopening the phone lines now. Just wanted to get that one off my chest, huh? Pay attention. All right. We saw something put out by an individual just last week. I was showing you all that one, where they were talking about what they alleged took place on election day. That a person leave and go and come back, and all this kind of person leave and go and come back. They leave the polling station with a ballot, and they come back up with the ballot just to put in the box, and with the finger already marked. Now tell me how that is supposed to happen. Yeah? So if you're reforming, they also need to investigate things like that to see what took place there. Yeah? To see what sort of simidimi and hanky-panky may have taken place there. We have a caller online. Good night.
Shelly.
Hi, sir.
Good night.
Hey, how you doing?
I did good, man. We had to watch the Cambridge Analytica with whatever eyes,
My brother, it's even worse than that right now, huh? It's even much worse than that. Not just Cambridge Analytica. you have to keep your eye on AI.
Right. Oh boy, the AI self. Okay.
Because I'll tell you this as well. There are individuals who are using artificial intelligence in Grenada right now that have been going around and asking questions of people in various constituencies. St. John has been one of them. The ruling party is concerned about their chances in St. John. So they have sent individuals in different parts of St. John to ask questions of the residents there that they're entering into their database to try and project what the possibility is of them being able to retain that seat in the case of an election in the next 6, 12 months, 24 months, etc. So I can tell you that AI already has been and is at work in Grenada right now.
We have to be very, very careful. Anyhow, the workers, we have to do our work. We must do our work. We have to keep our eye on the ball. Okay, you take care, bro.
All right, my brother.
Good.
Yes, folks, 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. So we must be careful. Yeah, artificial intelligence is at work here in Grenada. If not only writing speech, it's at work here in Grenada right now. We have to pay attention. Yeah? We talk about all the issues. It's important to talk about the issues, but while we're doing that, we have to multitask. We have to keep our eyes on the electoral office. Yeah? And I'm not saying that the people in the electoral office are bad people or wicked people or anything like that. No, don't go out there and say that. Don't go out there and say that anything like that. I'm not saying that. But remember, they have bosses that they answer to, eh? And if the intention of the bosses are that we are going to change the system because the electoral office don't have money for themselves, they can't just change the system that they get from government. Yeah? So we need to know who is the company that's going to be putting together that architecture. And I'll even make a suggestion here that if it does take place, and people go say again, I'm giving them ideas, but anyway, it's one Grenada. If it does take place, I do not believe that we should have a voter's identification card anymore. I believe we need to do away with that. We need a national identification card. Right? So instead of you having to have an NIS card, and then if at the time you get you go and register, you have to get your voter's identification card and so on, that you should have one card that you can use to do whatever transactions you have to do and so on, instead of having to go and get an NIS card. And so once you've gotten to the age, automatically you should be registered for NIS anyway, so you get your card that is like your card for everything. All right? Not for driving, and so driver's license, you still have to go and get a driver's license. As far as I'm concerned, that could be different, right? So you still get that. But instead of you having an NIS card and a voter identification card, you have your national ID that carries the role of both of these and so on. All right? With different features on it. So that should be part of the discussion if you're going into this thing. Yeah? So you need a broader discussion on this issue. But we have to pay attention. Remember, the Prime Minister himself went to London. Yeah, on one of the trips again, he was over there. He didn't say it yet. When he went there, he said that our Grenada will be moving towards a referendum on becoming a republic in the year 2024. That is next year. Yeah, that's next year. The 50th year of our independence. That we will be moving towards that. I think St. Kitts is moving sometime this year. One of the other islands is also moving towards becoming a republic this year. And the Prime Minister here said in London that they're looking to go towards that in 2024. Now that process requires us to go and vote. So let's see if they're looking to rush through now a new electoral system to go to that process. Let's see what is taking place there. All right, 440-7377. I said that's the number for you to call and get onto the inside.
Anytime you're checking me busy.
Yes, indeed. 440-7377-347-329-3101. So yes, folks, yeah, I'm seeing your messages, and yes, you went and you registered about that, and they tell me that they are doing, so they will have to do a totally new, once they introduce a new system, it voids the card that you have, Because once they introduce a new system and it passes through Parliament, etc., everything, it means that you have to get a new card. It means the card that you have is no longer valid, even though it says expiring whenever, it's no longer valid. All right? Because it's a new system. So they would start from zero, nobody on the list, and then everybody has to go and register to get onto the list. All right? Nice.
If that problem, just go and practice. Then give them the one time if they wouldn't take it light. Showing everybody they cannot unite. And when you hear they talking about group of four, that is the time that you have to done some more. They behaving power hungry, like they want leadership quickly. The way they get in on a show, they can't wait for Tilly to go. They're so embarrassing.
Yes, indeed, folks. So I'm seeing the saying the bushing is starting on Monday. I am glad to see that they are listening and that the bushing will be starting on Monday. But I also need to say this. Even though the bushing is starting on Monday, please do it evenly. Yeah? Even those of you who are supporters of the NDC will admit that in the constituencies, everybody got a little piece. Yeah? Everybody got a little piece. You don't want to see a set of gangs out working on Monday, and then when they're out working on Monday, is only those who support in the NDC and they throw in one NNP in it to say, yes, it are NNP people did because they throw in one. You want to make sure that when it is done, it is based on need and not on political affiliation. That's what it has to be based on. Need, not political affiliation, because from what I'm hearing, there's some of the people that getting called and thing. It's already heading in the direction of political affiliation. Because you have some of the activists at the NDC how they done throwing word for the NNP people and telling them if all you feel, all you getting any bushing and thing, joke all you making. The people who used to get a contract, they ain't getting no contract, and the other people who work along with people that get a contract, they're telling them if all you feel, all you getting, all you have nothing to get. So that is the sort of thing that's taking place out there. They're already throwing talk. Yeah? But the bottom line is Monday, when we come out, we want to see the bushing gangs out. Bush slapping people all over the place. Right? We want to see them out. Nice. Good. Remember the phone lines 440-7377. You can call us directly. You can also call us on the WhatsApp. Yeah, you can call us directly or you can call us on the WhatsApp.
Now that you're reaching the final, do not get swelled at all. Rootsman sing the same kind of song.
I'll get to some of the messages there, folks. I'll get to some of your messages in a little while. Yeah. I'm seeing the message. There's a lot of messages coming in tonight, yeah?
Rise them up from out of the gutter. Rise them up out of poverty. Rise them up. Please don't let them suffer. Rise them up. Set my people free. Rise them up from humiliation. Rise them up. Hunger and frustration. Rise them up. Mr. Calypsonian. Rise them up. It's your obligation. You know the good seed you sow and fertile soil will be growing as green as grass. Cause every word that the prophet had prophesied, it shall surely come to pass. Cause if you walk up a sweat in my vineyard, by your sweat you shall eat your bread. And once you satisfy all the criteria, we gon' put a crown on your head for the same song again. A spiritual song.
Don't worry, once I get the proper version of that one, I will play it for you all.
A lyrical song again. A singing the same song again. A melodious song again.
But I know the song some of you have decided that you want to hear is this particular one.
A Grenadian man up in Miami, pick up the phone and telephone me, oh God. I know you could comprehend. My PM, I want you help me defend. Imagine the man just got in power. He says he's Grenada biggest liar. Said the man is an attorney of law. Yes, the man is a big liar. But in case you still want a clue, he wanna go vacate against workers for SGU. The man is a liar, said by the stroke of the pen, every contract shall end and everyone shall meet permanent. The man is a liar, he increased his salary, decreasing money which he said should be 650. That man is a liar, to get the nurses to hush, he top up the post with 500 every month. That man is a liar, yes, a real big liar. That man is a professional liar. Deep in that conversation, he said he not speaking about profession, oh God. He said he loved the PM, he's a real nice guy, but people said he better than Bong to lie. I say, well, mister, you puzzling me, because Bong to lie is an attorney. Well, the man get vexed and he start to cause. Take transformation in your shot A, and you could make yourself a big clown. And right about now, his boots on the ground. The man is a liar. He promised the nation before consultation that he closing MNIB. The man is a liar. He promised us to rent a plane and he come back and say he ain't renting the plane again. That man is a liar. He told us to take heed. He will control seaweed. He will trap it in the ocean. That man is a liar. Yes, a big, big liar. I say that man is a professional liar.
What did I say? Kaiso, Kaiso?
During the campaign, the man said he's a big liar now from the east, oh God.
Let me just say, there was two questions I saw there. One of them was, how am I proposing that people vote if we no longer have a voter identification card? A voter identification card is not needed for an individual to vote in the state of Grenada. The qualifying criteria for anyone to vote is that your name must be on the voters list. Yeah, you could use any other form of national identification. In fact, even if you don't have a form of identification, but the people in the polling station can identify you, then there's that particular form that you sign, right? I'm trying to remember the particular name, but let me just take this call. We have a call online. Good night.
Hi, Sheldon. Good night. How are you?
Good night, Honorable Kate Skeeter Lewis Peters. Again, the whole thing.
Oh, yes. Good night. And good night to your listeners and viewers as well on the different platforms.
Well, Honorable Kate Lewis Skeeter Peters. I saw. No, my voice just kind of dipped there for a minute. Okay. Yesterday, I saw the activity that you all had up in St. Patrick. And
yes,
now,
at the arena.
Right.
St. Patrick.
And now I'm seeing one that was held in the National Stadium today. Give us a little rundown on how that came about and so on.
Right, Sheldon. Well, the new National Party has always been committed to the development of young people. And we have proven that throughout our tenure in government, what we have done with different youth programs and projects and so forth. Being in opposition now does not mean that we are not committed. So we continue to maintain our commitment and responsibility to the young people. So over the last 2 days, what we had was the youth empowerment session for students. We believe that it is very important, especially now in these challenging times. We are seeing challenges with mental health, challenges with youth violence. We understand as an opposition, we have a responsibility. And that is the reason why these sessions were organized for our students, to help them make sound decisions for their lives, their community, and Grenada will benefit as a result.
All right, and who are some of the facilitators of it? I saw several faces there yesterday and even more today. Who are some of the facilitators that were at the session?
We had 3 dedicated guest speakers for the 2 days, but in between we did have people coming and just giving some words of encouragement and inspiration to the students. So the guest speakers featured for the 2 days were Honorable Evelyn Pear, MP for St. Andrews South East. She did emotional intelligence with the students, before they make a decision. It is important to think about it, and based on how they feel, how they react to their feelings, emotional intelligence, once they have that, it will guide them in terms of making positive decisions and so forth. So it's basically to stop and think before you act. Then we had Dr. Augustine Pantru, and he did a very engaging session with them, focusing on important, I would say, attributes of life, of being successful in life, being persistent, being obedient, being a servant, And then we had Pastor Lambert Paul with his spirituality and, engaging them and letting them know that they have to see God, they have to call on Him. And these sessions were very inspiring, motivating, and of course, the students left feeling empowered.
So we have the students now who, these are some of them are secondary school students or going into the secondary school system and so on.
Yes.
And some are primary school students and so, who you all have done these sessions with and empowered
and
them.
We also had some of them, they indicated that they just graduated from secondary school heading into term season. So they were very pleased because what they received there was information that they can use in making decisions that would benefit them as they move along their educational journey.
What are their plans to continue? Because I know you all had 2 days of sessions yesterday for St. Patrick, St. Mark, and St. John, I believe it was, and St. Andrew?
Yes, yesterday we catered for St. Patrick and St. Andrew, and today we had St. John and the whole of St. George together with St. David.
Okay.
So of course, we cannot forget Carriacou, so we are planning. Senator Cox is back on island, and he will organize. We may do it. We're trying to see if we can facilitate it next week. If not, then it's after the festive season. But Carriacou will not be forgotten.
Of course, you can't forget Carriacou. That's home for us, That we place.
Exactly.
Understand? We can't go back up if we forget Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
Yeah,
we have to include them.
We will cater because we want a wide cross-section of our students to benefit from these very important sessions that, as I said before, will guide them along their life's journey. And today we had some guest speakers. We had Dr. the Right Honorable Kit Mitchell. He encouraged them as young students to make decisions that would be important. And of course, they will have challenges. All of the speakers indicated that to them. He told them that he never thought as a young man that he was going to be Prime Minister for over 20-something years, and he was able to achieve that. And if he can do that, then they can do the same. Of course, we had Brother Nimrod Oliver joining us today as well, and he was able to inspire them about, letting them know about his journey being a cop in the NYPD and how challenging it was coming from Grenada and Grenadian culture and so on, having to make that adjustment. But of course, he was able to successfully complete his tenure there. And we had one of his cousins, who is a PhD student, the University of Texas at Dallas, and he really encouraged them and inspired them again, indicating that life will be challenging, but if you have a dream, you just have to, have that mindset that you will achieve it and you will overcome the challenges despite the circumstances and situation. So it was a very fruitful, productive 2 days for our students. And as I said, they all indicated that they left feeling empowered. When you have some of them who, when they came into when they started the day and you ask how they feel, some of them say they feel tired, one guy said he wanted to go home, and do you believe at the end of the session when he indicated that he was not ready to go home because he was so inspired and motivated? I can tell you they were truly touched and impacted in a positive way.
Yes, indeed. And what are the plans after you've completed with Carriacou, and so are there plans to continue with other sessions?
No, well, as I indicated, we do have a responsibility to engage our young people and to help them develop themselves, their lives, and at the end of it, the community will benefit, the parishes, the constituencies, and Grenada as a whole. So we will continue a series of youth engagement activities geared towards youth development.
Wonderful. And I'd like to congratulate you and the entire team for the excellent job you have done. I realize even government MPs congratulating you all as well and want to be part of the whole thing. We could have us separate.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're doing good, people have to recognize this, and sometimes people always want to associate with things that are good. So we accept the commendation, and we are, as I said, we are committed towards this, and being in opposition does not deter us one bit, because we do understand our responsibility to our young people. That is our focus at this time, not as a party but as a youth arm. But the party, of course, committed to the general citizenry of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique.
Indeed. So again, I'd like to congratulate you. And of course, how are things going though up in, since we have you on the line, how are things going up in Northeast? I think I see some pictures of a bridge again. That's the bridge up by you. I see they fixing there. They finally reach?
Well, I mean, it's been a long wait, and businessmen, they have been affected. The pedestrians, the people who live in the area, they have been seriously affected. Supermarkets there, the bus drivers. And if they indicated 2 weeks ago that they have started. And it is a very slow process, but at the end of it all, we just want to see it completed so that people can resume their livelihood.
And let me ask this question as well. Around this time of year, how many debushing gang you would have out already? Did I be on the third fortnight by now?
Above 45, hitting 50, giving the hustlers, giving the people who do side jobs, and some of the unemployed people who cannot find work, the opportunity to, earn an income that they can use to prepare the children for back to school and so forth. But, oh my God, it is so difficult now to drive along those roads with the bushes, hanging over. I heard you indicated that they are planning to start, and trust me, it is a necessity at this time, because it is right now posing harm and danger to pedestrians as well as drivers on the road. So I'm happy that they answered to the call from your program and to other people, the citizens, asking for what has to be done. So it's very important that we see the debushing taking place. But I can tell you, we hope they do better next time. We do not have to wait. You must have vision. You must understand the importance of the debushing program and get it done in the opportune time. We don't wait until you see there is almost near accidents and so forth before you can really implement that program. It is a necessity. It is an important program for the cleanliness and maintaining the beautification, and of course to keep people safe as well, drivers along the different roads. So it's very important, and they should not have to wait on a call from opposition members or from citizens of Grenada to implement that program.
Because I think they're driving the same road and the bush lashing them too, and I mean some of them get some nice new ride there. So
if they're driving with the eyes closed, but most of them have drivers, so maybe they're not even paying attention to the road, Sheldon.
Well, they're balling with the mouth closed, so driving with the eyes closed might be too far off.
Oh God, let's not go there. But I'm happy, as you said, if they're about to implement that program, because it is very important that we get it going at this time.
We want them, we tell them by Monday, because that bush, it's too much now, man. It's too much.
Well, I guess they have been listening.
A little bit again, we're looking to see if giraffe and thing walking out from them thing there. Looking for lion and tiger and thing.
Sometimes these foreigners come in and they say our roads are so small, and I never understood, well, why they saying it it is that small, but the bush took over half of the road, Sheldon. So I saw how narrow those roads were. Seeing that the bush took over half of the roads in some areas, it was really, really bad.
Yes, indeed. All right, Honorable Kate Skeeter Lewis Peters, we'd like to thank you because I know you just have duties that you have to go to.
Well, of course, and I'm preparing for baby because tomorrow I have to attend the New Life Organization graduation ceremony, and I have to drop him off by grandma early in the morning, so I have to prepare everything tonight.
And you have to spend as much time and snuggle as much as you could before. So
of course. So, it's about balancing the work, balancing everything, but we're getting it done.
All right. So thank you so very much, and say a special good night to your loving husband for me as well.
Of course. Right now he has baby, so that's why,
Wait, that the boss,
Yes, he has baby, and everything is good. So let me say good night to all of your viewers and listeners again at this time. And, just continue listening, continue to advocate for our people and ensure that, we do what we have to do as a team of the New National Party, continuing to stand with the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique.
Thank you so very much. You enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, take care.
Okay, great. Yes, indeed, folks. We were speaking to the Honorable Kate Skeeter Lewis Peters there. Gave us a little insight into what was taking place with the youth activity yesterday and today. Yeah, having that youth. I'm still waiting to hear what the Ministry of Youth doing. Ministry of Youth, all you there? No, not the workers, and I ain't blaming all you inside there. No, all you know me and all you good. All you understand? Me and all you good, eh? Nice. The workers inside, but like all you no leadership? Yeah, all you no leadership? All the leadership busy with Cuban cigars and them kind of that they're busy with, yeah? Yeah, smoke cigars, drink expensive alcohol, that kind of thing. Skanking rum shop, yeah, that they busy, right? Meanwhile, you're seeing young fellas taking off each other ears and all kind of thing, and all sort of stupidness going on out there. And they have not said a single word. I'm still waiting to hear Minister Ron Redhead or even Minister Dave Andrew or so on. I'm waiting to hear at least one of them, Minister Social Development, Minister Telesfraud. I'm waiting to hear one of them at least say something to the young people of this country. Yeah? To try and encourage them into positive behaviors or so. Hold a session with them. Instead, they're just hiding, liming, flying. Yeah? Some of them are more air miles than a sukunya. Because they're only flying. Yeah? And instead of this is part of the thing, The thing is not about increase your salary and selling people vehicle and them kind of thing. The thing is about how you are going to help change to the positive, for the positive, the lives of as many people as possible. And especially when you're interested in working with youth, how you are going to change their lives to the positive. How are you going to help that young man or that young woman who is living in some dire situation right now? How are you going to get them out from there and improve their lives, get them on the right path and help them to improve their lives? That's what it's about, We have a caller online.
Hello, good night.
Hi, good night.
Sheldon.
Hi, my dear.
It seems as though we're very forgetful. If our Prime Minister went all to England and slept in the kings of the nation, well, what make you think they wouldn't sleep on the road? They will sleep on the road, yeah. So the bush is not necessary for them now. Have a very good night.
So while you like to drop some kind of bomb and go. So they're sleeping. That's why they can't see the bush lashing because they're sleeping. Okay. Tell Ollie already we can't even walk without bushing. Yes, but right now we have more bush than the White House ever had. Anyhow, yes, 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on the inside. 347-329-3101. So yeah, there was that question again in relation to when I made the suggestion that we have a national ID instead of the voters. I think the voters registration ID, believe me, in my humble opinion, I think it's a waste of time. I think we need to consolidate some of the IDs that we use into a national ID. So when you check, you have your national identification card. As it is right now, if you are going to vote, if you have the voter identification card, all well and good. But if you're going to vote and you don't have a voter identification card, they cannot deny you from voting if you have another form of national identification. So if you have your NIS card, or you happen to have your passport with you, or your driver's license, you can use that and vote. And even if you don't have none of them, but there are people there that could positively identify you as the individual that you say you are, yeah, which is why they use people from the community in the polling stations who could, well, yes, I know Sheldon, that is Sheldon Scott, yes, that is him. Yeah. Look, the mole on the face there, in the shape of upside down hat, that is him. Right. So they can identify you, and they say, well, okay, there's a document that you must sign. In that instance, there's a document that you must sign before you are allowed to place your ballot in the box and so, but that can be done. All right? So in that case, why is there really a need for a voter? I think it's just a waste really to have a voter identification card. Have a national identification card with a number that, for instance, when you institute things like national health insurance and so, that's the card that the person would use. For national health insurance, or whether it's the national insurance scheme, you're doing business with them, or you're doing other business and so on, you go to the banks, you go to wherever, you can use that as your form of identification, even as you're looking for travel between the various Caribbean countries and so, and they're talking now outside of our own, we have the open travel between the OECS where we could travel on like an ID or a voter registration card or whatever, so that you could use that to travel instead, right? You could use that to travel between those islands. Yes, CARICOM is now looking to do something similar to what we have within the OECS, open mouth travel, so that we can travel to Trinidad without the need for a passport. You could use your ID. And so it's not this situation now. It is something that's being floated, that you'd be able to travel to those islands using something other than your passport and so. Yes, so they're looking to open the space. So I'll be able to go to Jamaica. Jamaicans could come here. We could go to Trinidad. Trinidadians could come here. There are issues that I have around that itself, because if you improve the ease of people being able to enter the country, does our Royal Grenada Police Force have the capability to deal with the volume of negative people that might be trying to evade other islands and come here, yeah, as a hideout, and then engage in certain activities in our country? And is the regional network, police-wise, strong enough to be able to deal with that sort of freedom of movement, or you still need it in a way that people have to move with a passport so you could verify everything? Then people you just leave Trinidad and you're here, or you just leave Jamaica and you're here, and that kind of thing, all right? So you need to be able to do that, all right? Nah, man, your surname is my good friend. Your surname can't be Telus Fraud. All right, 440-7377. That's the number for you to get on to the inside. So yes, the New National Party is continuing to do what the New National Party does. Work in the interests of the people and stand with the people. Yeah? So you're seeing the members of the New National Party continuing to do what they usually do to assist the people of our country. And I think we've got a caller coming in via the WhatsApp. So let me just make sure I plug that caller in. There was another question that someone had asked me in relation to the electoral system. Oh, they made a statement that a report has been made to the supervisor of election in relation to the allegation that we spoke about last week. That was made by one Preston, whatever his name is, from St. John, in relation to that fraud that he alleges took place on election day. That a report has been made to the supervisor of election. An official report has been made, and we're looking to see what they can find out in relation to that. We have a call online. Good night.
Hey, good night, Brother Sheldon.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm okay, man. Okay.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Brother Sheldon, you know, I watched the picture where you post the concern to do with the Prime Minister when he came in the airport. Where the minister they went and lined up and they smiling. Brother Sheldon, people in the country going through real difficulty, hard time, under pressure, right? many things take a wrong thing on in the country. You never hear any of the ministers come out and say anything, right? But you have the prime minister went away. He don't bring back nothing. Nothing that the people going to smile about. But only who smiling, them who getting the big fat salary. And some when you check on the Barashalan, they have to do it. You know, like you tell the children, well, I'm going away. If I don't come back with nothing, well, just come and smile for me. To let the Grenada people see that you're smiling. You're smiling. I remember the former prime minister said that the Grenada people smiling. You know, I do believe when you speak about Grenada people, their ministers he speaking about. Because they're smiling. What is smiling? What they should be smiling? What they should be doing? It is speaking to to themselves and saying to themselves, we need to do better. We need to do better. But if people going to compete, Martin, is in trouble. They're under pressure. So they should vex instead of smiling and say, no, minister, the prime minister, we need to do better. And when they do better, and greater people come out from this hard time, then the greater people have a smile and they could smile. Revolution, when I look again, I traveled to northwest from Brizan Happy to Molini. And we go up and we are doing certain things. And both sides of the road, Revolution, I will pass bush on both sides of the road. Many persons were saying, oh, boy, you see bush why? Someone could hide in the bush and like a bright day and you see the person people who had to escape. Right? As the caller was saying, someone caller was saying that you need to clean up the place. And we shouldn't only need to clean up because it's festival season. We need to keep the place clean. Because that is also part of security. Like more bushy place how close to the road. It is a danger to people when they're walking. Because sometimes man hide and you walking come behind but you don't see him. But if the road keep clean by the land, a man will hide because you go see him from far and you got them escape. Right? And Brother I don't come back with security again. I do believe if you don't understand the purpose of your role as a security minister, give it up and give somebody who understand that. Because so many things going on in the country. The prime minister don't say anything. Don't addressing the cost of the crime in the country. You don't addressing the high cost of living in the country. Nothing addressing, right? But you have some ministers, they smiling. They smiling for what? What is smiling? It's a fake smile, right? Because they want to be giving the pressure to the greater people who like something nice, the prime minister come back with something nice. But why came back with nothing? One thing I could say, Brother Sheila, when NMP gone away, NMP minister gone away, they came back with something. They came back with something that the greater people could be proud of, and it will be beneficial to everyone, Brother Sheila. Brother Sheila, I know so that they have a saying, boots on the ground. But Brother Sheila, what I need them to say, boots on plate. But can they be on plate more regular than being on the ground? And all the project you see that they're doing is project that was there under NMP while they was in government.
All right.
They just had no new project of them. So Brother Sheldon, have a bless.
All right, thank you very much. 4407377, and I think there was another caller trying to get through. Let me see if I could call that caller back. Oh, in fact, did not call them back. I think they called for themselves. So, oh boy, you're right, nice. Right, I think hello, good night.
Good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
Last.
Yes, ma'am.
It's the first time I'm calling into your program.
All right, thank you.
I've been an ardent supporter of it.
Thank you.
And I would just like to make a contribution.
Go right ahead.
No, it's concerning the health. It's concerning the health situation in the country.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm wondering if there is a minister of health in the state of Grenada, because we are not hearing any minister of health come in and talk about the health situation in the country. There are COVID cases are on the rise. We have not been given or hearing of the statistics of it. And the thing about it now is I've been hearing that there are 2 cases of monkeypox right in Trinidad, our neighboring island, and that is too close for comfort.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
now it's time
there was
for
a
the
release.
authorities to come out and say something.
There was a release yesterday by the government of Trinidad and Tobago. They have confirmed at least one. I didn't know if it's two, but I know at least one case of monkeypox in Trinidad. I did see that release. Yes. So you are correct, caller.
Yes, but the minister here should come out, and the ministry should come out and say what steps they are going to take to try to prevent it from entering here, because who knows, if this if we should have an outbreak, that could be the next pandemic, and we wouldn't like that to happen in our country now after things are, the way things are going. I think he should resign from that ministry and go back to his former ministry, which is preaching. I think he should do that. I think he's better off there than where he is now.
Indeed.
And I think somebody must come out straight and tell him that, because he doesn't. The Ministry of Health is not suitable for him. That's not a suitable place for him. That I don't think that is his calling. I don't think so. So it's a big mistake he made by getting inside there, and he's not doing any good for the country. It's not helping.
Because it's not a place that you learn on the job. That's people life you're playing with there. You can't learn on the job playing with people life. You don't. Right, it's not trial and error.
He's not interacting with people or anything of the sort. What are going inside there for? Just to dress up and wear jacket and tie? I really can't understand what is going on.
And to shout boots on the ground, boots on the ground. That's it mean, boots on the ground, boots on the ground.
It's all right. You won't have election before the end of the year, or by early next year.
Let's see with the new electoral system. So let's see what the rollout looks like. Right. All right, my dear. Thank you so very much for your contribution. Okay. All right. You enjoy the rest of your night. 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the right. Yeah. Just need to nice. Right. So 440-7377, that's the number for you to get on to the inside. Somebody's asking about new law. Now, according to the release that was sent out by government last week, in that release, it does say that there would be no tuition fees at NULO and at TAMCC. And I did point out that they spoke to tuition fees, which are just part of the fees that students incur if you're going to TAMCC or if you're going to NULO. Tuition is just part of the fees that you have to pay. There are other fees that are being paid because one parent has messaged to say that they went to register their child at NULO and they were told that they have to pay. Yeah, I'm not sure if they mean they have to pay the full thing. Probably the information has not been communicated to NULO. But the other thing is this. One of the issues that you've been having now when it comes to this issue of the what they're saying, the free tertiary education and so on. Over the years, what you've found when it comes to the T.A. Marisho Community College and NULO and even the secondary school system and so, is that the main issue that students are having, you could have all the books, your tuition fees could be paid, and the students still are not showing up for classes. Because the main problem that they had was transportation. Now, within TAMCC, they had that system where they were providing funds to assist students in need so that they would be able to get help with transportation and so through the TAMCC. Also, government, through different programs, inclusive of SEED, would help with transportation for students to be able to go to school. Yeah? Now, with what they have been doing, I've been checking the budget document. I'm not seeing an increase in that area. In fact, I'm not really seeing that area at all. And I'm not seeing an increase under the budget for the Ministry of Education that reflects that they are now going to take up the tuition for NULO and they're going to take up the tuition for TAMCC, because that would be a significant amount of money. And I am not seeing that under the budget for the year 2023. Remember, they've been discussing this thing since last year. So if their intention is to ensure that they have free tuition at TAMCC and NULO, then it ought to have been within the 2023 budget. So I don't know if what they're going to do is that they're going to come to Parliament and bring a supplemental to raise that money to be able to deal with that. But it just shows again the lack of planning, the lack of understanding, the lack of direction of the NDC administration. That you're saying that one of your platform promises, that's what they're saying, one of their platform promises was free tertiary education, and so that they're going to remove the fees from NULO, they're going to remove it from TAMCC, and only forget to put it into the budget for 2023. Because I've been checking, and the increase that is under that ministry, that super ministry of youth, sport, education, etc., is because the ministries were joined. But you're not seeing any increase when it comes to the Ministry of Education that would reflect that, hey, we have put aside, but it's $5 million because we're going to eliminate school fees at the secondary school levels and at TAMCC and at NULO. We're going to eliminate school fees there so that we have put in, that's going to be the schools, if we add up everything overall, it's going, and I'm just giving figures here, and it's not the exact figures, but to say that's going to cost $5 million, so that we have to put $5 million extra under the budget to cover that. Or we have to put $10 million because we're speaking at TAMCC, NULO, and we're speaking all the secondary schools, and we are going to have to provide the things that money usually goes to the schools for, so that in that instance, we have to budget for it. No, they didn't do that. Check the budget document for 2021 when the New National Party did that budget in November 2021, and check the budget that they have done. There is no significant increase to be able to cover those things, which means now the gang that can't shoot straight had to bring a supplemental now to Parliament to ask for that money. Meanwhile, NULO is still saying to the students that, hey, you have to pay. And I would not be surprised if students or parents going to TAMCC are hearing a similar story when that time comes. Yeah? We still see the secondary schools having fees for different items. So it means that proper discussions did not take place. I'm pretty sure they probably didn't speak to the teachers union and all of them again, who might have been able to educate them on that. Right? Yeah, Judas Jude and squad. They may have been able to educate them on that. So they didn't speak to them, and that they didn't speak to other people who would have been able to educate them on the issue. It's just they come in and they feel we know and rush and do things. We know, so just rush. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Forget everything. No, we don't want to hear about this. Now just do it. So they're just rushing and making announcements and so on, knowing full well there's no budgetary allocation there for that. So they will have to come. I'm pretty sure when you hear Parliament come again, you're going to see the Russian coming with a supplemental. A supplemental is you're doing something that's not under the budget. It's not budgeted for. So you have to ask for that money, right? So they're going to bring a supplemental. They're going to bring a bill because it's going to supplement the budget that's there. So they have to bring that in and say we need 10 million, we need 5 million, we need 15 million, whatever it is. We need that because we have now eliminated school fees, and as such, per school, this is the amount of money we're going to have to pay, or per student, per school, this is the amount of money we're going to have to pay, and therefore, we need this amount of money to be able to deal with that. Yeah? I would have thought that when you're putting together the budget last year, because it's not an NNP budget that you're using now, this is your budget. This is the first indication of how you're really doing, because this is your budget, right? They didn't put that in, and that is supposed to be one of the main things that they have as an achievement, and they've been talking about as an achievement or so, yet still they have not budgeted for it. Yeah? Maybe if somebody sees it under the budget and they could tell me where it is, the budget documents are available online. If somebody sees it under the budget and they know where to find it, maybe they can tell me. Folks, I want to wrap the program right around here because I want to give you all a chance to hear the Small Axe song before I leave tonight. So I want to wrap the program around here, and tomorrow night we've got quite a lot to discuss. Once again, quite a lot to discuss tomorrow night on the program. To all the callers, we'd like to thank you for your contributions. To each and every one of you that listen, each and every night, we'd like to thank you all as well. Those of you that send messages, whether it's WhatsApp, Facebook. Yeah, some people sending text message, some people calling, right? Some people meet me on the street, on the bus, in shops, different places. And I'm so happy to be able to meet you and for you to allow us to enter into your homes and your business places and so on a nightly and sometimes daily, for those of you that are listening in the daytime, a daily business. So we'd like to thank you all so very much for that. We love you all unconditionally. So folks, in everything you say and do it safe and secure. We want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. And I want to play the small axe there right now, and I'm taking it right from the top.
Man up in Miami, pick up the phone and telephone me, oh God. Small axe, I know you could comprehend. My PM, I want you help me defend. Imagine the man just got in power. He says he's Grenada biggest liar. Said the man is an attorney of law. Yes, the man is a big liar. Still want a clue. He wanna go big case against workers for SGU. The man is a liar. Said by the stroke of the pen, every contract shall end and everyone shall meet permanent. The man is a liar. He increases salary, decreasing money, which he said should be $650. That man is a liar. To get the nurses to hush, he top up the boss with 500 every month. That man is a liar. Yes, a real big liar. That man is a professional liar. Deep in that conversation, he said he not speaking about profession, oh God. He said he loved the PM, he's a real nice guy, but people said he better than Born to Lie. I say, well, mister, you puzzling me, because Born to Lie is an attorney. Well, the man get vexed and he start to cause. Take transformation in your shot, and you yourself a big clown. And right about now, it's boots on the ground. The man is a liar. He promised the nation before consultation that he closing MNIB. The man is a liar. He promised us to rent a plane and he come back and say he ain't renting the plane again. That man is a liar. He told us to take heed, he will control the weed, he will trap it in the ocean. That man is a liar. Yes, a big liar. I say that man is a professional liar. Campaign, the man said this. He's a big liar now from the east, oh God. And at the same time tell us in we face, as a liar he never lost a case. So I said let's stop that conversation. The PM make it clear what his profession. He said he listened to GBN radio. I call on him cities road. He feeling sorry and feeling sad. The Prime Minister really lying bad. The man is a liar. He promised the nation cabinet conclusion with NNP and a policeman. The man is a liar. But we sit down with him, conclusion ain't coming. I feel it somewhere hiding. The man is a liar. He said he not biased. I have all with a master's liver commissioner.